Welcome, everyone, to the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission's annual report presentation. I'm Vincent Valdez, Executive Director of the Commission, here to help showcase SPC's accomplishments over the past year. In a game of chess, an opponent's mettle is not necessarily determined through offensive maneuvers, but through strategic choices when met on the defense. Plans change, strategies pivot, successful countermoves cultivate not only a strong player, but a strong leader. 2020 has taught us that a good game of chess can be played anywhere, be it by mail, over the phone, in person, or even over WebEx. And no matter where we are or what unforeseen circumstances we find ourselves up against, success is determined by how we execute our necessary countermoves. When the pandemic first struck last March, SPC's offices were closed appropriately and staff began working from home. This, of course, prompted an abrupt change of both scenery and process, and it also caused changes in how SPC operates internally and externally. But still, in the midst of collective uncertainty, bright spots surfaced, from assisting several small businesses with crucial grants and loans to developing the TIP virtually, and helping our partners move forward. We delivered. In this presentation, we'd like to share with you some of SPC's countermoves made against a most challenging year. First up to speak on her team's successes as well as obstacles faced is SPC's Planning and Development Director, Jen Lasser. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vincent, for the introduction. 2020 was indeed a challenging year, but as Vincent said, our countermoves to these unforeseen obstacles were absolutely key, and not only to SPC's success, but to the resiliency of our local communities and the small businesses they know and love. SPC's Economic Development Team provides continual support to regional small businesses through assistance with accessing financial, technical, and educational resources. We combine the management of community, technical, financial, export, and government procurement assistance, along with special enterprise development activities with the delivery of other state and federal programs to enhance our region's competitiveness in the national and global markets. We are designated by the Appalachian Regional Commission as the Local Development District and by the Economic Development Administration as the Economic Development District for Southwestern Pennsylvania. As the region's LDD, our members work together through the Area Development Program to advance a wide range of projects, including education and workforce training, Appalachian Development Highway System Program projects, and industrial access improvements, water sewer system construction, leadership development programs, and the development of healthcare resources to meet the area development goals. As our region's prep coordinator, SPC served more than 2,100 clients in over 11,000 separate counseling sessions. These sessions yielded over $21 million in increased sales, but most importantly, over 3,300 jobs were created or retained. The PrEP network also focused on educating our regional businesses by offering over 100 workshops. The state-level Engage program, which is a business retention and expansion program designed to proactively interact with targeted companies. We engaged with more than 450 companies, completed 6 business walks, 300 separate action plans, resulting in 64 referrals to partners. With the global pandemic raging, small businesses struggled. Those seeking to expand international trade faced the unique challenge of the pandemic-based travel restrictions. We supported these businesses through virtual meetings and webinars focused on online marketing, website internationalization, e-commerce, and export documentation. We assisted with the exporting needs of 56 companies, generating 55 projects. Our clients also procured 6 Global Access Program grants for international website design and online marketing. September saw a virtual version of our annual Bringing the World to PA event with 15 foreign market virtual presentations by PA overseas trade representatives, attracting over 200 attendees. While helping business expand globally, we also assisted with the underutilized land development through the Keystone Opportunity Zone program. This program provides tax benefits to businesses and property owners who locate within the designated underutilized land areas. Our efforts resulted in over 3,500 jobs created or retained and leveraged $61 million in public and private investment in the region. I'd like to take a moment to personally congratulate our business finance team and the SPC staff who supported them for their amazing work with and for small businesses in our region. We helped businesses apply for and receive over $850,000 from the state's COVID-19 Working Capital Access Program. We approved over $1 million in financing from our internal revolving loan funds. We also led over 250 educational sessions for business owners, and these efforts helped to create or retain over 250 jobs in our region. These numbers represent a remarkable accomplishment, but I think our most triumphant accomplishment was doubling the number of loans for the entirety of the previous year in a mere 37 days. Congratulations again to our incredible business finance team. It's often said that the largest purchaser of goods and services in the United States is the United States itself. This echoes the goal of our Government Procurement Assistance Program, which helps hundreds of regional companies in marketing to and contracting with federal, state, and local governments. We provide one-on-one counseling and training with an emphasis on minority, disabled, veteran, and women-owned small businesses, helping them participate in the government marketplace. Our services resulted in nearly 100 counseling sessions with 67 companies. Our clients won 250 government contracts worth over $95 million. Our support of local governments remained strong throughout the year. We continued our partnership with PennDOT and the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors by administering the region's local technical assistance program and offering training programs and technical assistance to our municipalities. Through website, webinars, and classes, we covered two types of information: roadway safety and asset management. Our specific focus was improved safety for road maintenance workers and exploring new technologies and methods to improve roadway quality. And finally, our Water Resource Center continued its award-winning educational workshop program. 10 virtual workshops were offered, attracting nearly 500 participants. We completed all work on the Keystone Communities Program grants. The Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development awarded SPC over $570,000 for the LDDAP Stormwater Mitigation and Resiliency Project. We also expanded our reach with a newly designed website featuring an interactive integrated planning tool and new educational guidance resources. And now I turn it over to Andy Waple, who will talk about how the transportation team supports local governments and communities in the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. At SPC, we're committed to keeping our region connected and moving forward. Our transportation planning efforts advance our regional vision of a world-class, safe and well-maintained, integrated transportation system that provides mobility for all, enables resilient communities, and supports a globally competitive economy. In 2020, we advanced over $540 million worth of transportation improvement projects. And thanks to the efficient processing of projects through SPC's Transportation Technical Committee, we were able to capture an additional $46 million in federal funds during the year for our members. In June, we adopted the region's 2021 Transportation Improvement Program, outlining over $2.2 billion in public transit investments and $1.4 billion in roadway and bridge improvements over the next 4 years. It will rehabilitate or replace over 160 poor condition bridges in southwestern Pennsylvania, as well as maintain hundreds of miles of roads. The program will also fund projects that improve safety, system reliability, air quality, and accommodations for pedestrians and bicyclists. Working in partnership with a broad group of stakeholders, we are implementing many of the SmartMove strategies, from developing multimodal hubs and corridors, to better coordinating public transit services, to assisting in deploying high-speed broadband connectivity, as well as pursuing state and federal discretionary funding for high-priority regional projects. Over the past year, we convened a series of virtual meetings between the Executive Committee and state and federal elected leadership, as well as the Pennsylvania Secretary of Transportation, to communicate the dire need for equitable distribution of discretionary transportation funding to our region. We administer several discretionary funding programs that provide multimodal travel options to the people of southwestern Pennsylvania. Projects are selected that enhance safety and improve operations of our existing system. These investments in turn better our communities and help to attract and retain businesses. Expanding transportation options in an equitable manner for communities is the cornerstone of smart moves for a changing region. The Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Program funds projects and programs that improve air quality standards for ozone, carbon monoxide, and particulate matter. SPC's Livability Through Smart Transportation, or SMART program, funds collaborative projects that link multimodal transportation improvements with land use planning to create transportation facilities that are safe and sustainable, responsive to the needs of all users, and supportive of community planning goals. Here are a few examples of community needs helped by our SMART program. The Regional Transportation Alternative Set-Aside program provides funds for non-motorized projects that increase mode choice and mitigate transportation-related environmental impacts. The priority for these projects is to enhance mobility, accessibility, and safety for pedestrians and bicyclists, and also to mitigate transportation-related stormwater impacts. The rules of public transportation and commuting saw dramatic changes as a result of the pandemic, largely due to work from home and social distancing requirements. Our multimodal and commute info teams took advantage of these changes to support our members by distributing CARES Act emergency assistance to the region's transit operators. We also provided technical and scenario planning assistance to prepare for the next normal, as well as major transit investments in the region, such as the downtown to Oakland to East End Bus Rapid Transit project. In 2020, we began the development of Smart Moves Connections, a vision for public transit. This report is founded on a vision of multimodal transportation that features multi-agency and interdisciplinary collaboration and a data-driven approach to a regional concept for public transit, regional connections, and coordination among transit agencies. In 2020, we also started the fourth cycle of the Regional Traffic Signal Program, which proposed projects across 15 corridors in multiple counties across the region. The first three cycles of this program have been very successful and have improved 577 signalized intersections. Results have yielded $51 of public benefit for every dollar spent in terms of reduced delay, vehicular stops, fuel consumption, and emissions. Our congestion management process collects and analyzes data for over 100 congested corridors across the region, including updated travel times, planning time indices, and federal performance metrics. At PennDOT's request, we also completed a corridor operations planning study on Route 8 in Allegheny County. The safety of our transportation system and its users is the highest priority in our planning. We updated the Regional Transportation Safety Action Plan, which includes strategies and initiatives to address 13 regional safety focus areas and over 150 potential safety projects. The work we do here at SPC is supported by our data and modeling team and their wide range of essential data, resources, and tools. Data and technical assistance were provided to SPC members and planning partners to support plans and programs and projects, such as the Route 28 Corridor Study and Smart Moves Connections. The team supports data needs related to our environmental justice and limited English proficiency planning. We also maintain our regional data center on the SPC website and are working toward an enhanced data navigation tool that creates interactive on-demand tables. Our travel models provide data analysis for effective transportation plans, congestion management, and air quality standards. In addition to the air quality conformity analysis for the TIP and long-range plan, our modelers develop travel projections and traffic growth forecasts for a range of projects, including the Laurel Valley Transportation Project in Westmoreland County, development proposals in the Strip District, and the reuse of the Westinghouse site in Churchill Borough. We have partnerships with the Pennsylvania Data Center, Carnegie Mellon University, and the University of Pittsburgh. One of our most important partnerships is with the U.S. Census Bureau as its primary local partner. One of our biggest efforts in 2020 was assisting with the decennial census activities such as the Participant Statistical Area Program and the Complete Count Committee. And now I'll turn it over to Kirk Bretthauer, who leads our information systems team, to talk about how they use all of this data to create layered maps, story maps, and other visual and interactive products. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy, for that introduction. As Andy mentioned, SPC's GIS team focuses on using the data collected by the various teams to provide services for all of SPC's departments. Their success is our success. We do everything we can to ensure that they have the information and tools needed to further advance projects. Recently, the GIS team began expanding the availability of spatial data for use by our members and planning partners. Our Open Hub data site hosts over 133 downloadable layers of GIS data. Examples of this data include nearly 450 regional traffic counts that are collected annually by the HPMS program. In support of SPC's operations and safety team, additional counts were also completed along the Route 8 corridor in Allegheny County, as well as the Broadhead Road corridor in Beaver County. We've also ramped up efforts to record traffic data at historical locations that have only been counted once or on very rare occasions. Our support is continued with SPC's Water Resource Center. An interactive watershed plan map for the SPC 10-county region was created and includes all 491 plans that have been developed for watersheds as of October 2020. Additionally, we've supported SPC's planning and development team and the County Planning Directors Forum through a series of maps depicting regional broadband internet service. Key maps include broadband access by census block, internet service providers throughout the region, and data elements from the high-cost, the American Connect Fund project. Early in the year, we assisted with an analysis of pedestrian and bicycle corridors in Allegheny County. We faced the challenge of bridging the Great Allegheny Passage via on-street routes maintaining the highest possible bicycle level of comfort, or LOC scale. The review included speed limit data, average annual daily traffic, and the number of road lanes. A subsequent ranking was assigned to the roads in these corridors, and the results were published on an online map application. We've collected all forms of data using ESRI's ARC Collector app to enhance SPC's active transportation network. Over 600 pedestrian and bicycling assets were collected, including bike racks, parking lots, trailheads, and even canoe and kayak launches. This digital GIS inventory expansion continues, and we're focusing on the region's sidewalks, crosswalks, and steps to aid local plans and projects. Over 6,800 miles of this local pedestrian infrastructure has been digitized in communities across the SPC region. The GIS support goes a long way in assisting our partners and the planners at SPC in their great and important work. I'd now like to introduce Shannon O'Connell, our Communications Director, to talk about SPC's public engagement. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirk. The Office of Communications and Public Engagement brings SPC's work to the people of southwestern Pennsylvania. Outreach to and engagement with the public is the cornerstone of effective regional planning and is a major aspect of everything we do. Our public outreach is guided by our public participation plan, which is based around 5 major goals. First, we need to inform and educate the public so they can better understand how to give input. In doing this, we reach out to and build connections with the different populations and communities throughout the region so they're aware of our services. Then we engage the public by bringing planning to them using a variety of engagement techniques such as public meetings, social media, surveys, videos, focus groups, etc. for continued participation. The last 2 goals are to use what we hear from the public in shaping plans and programs for investments. And then we evaluate how we're doing. Are we reaching people? We also look at new tools and techniques. Obviously, virtual meetings and online participation opportunities have taken center stage in the last year. But we've learned that a combination of different tools, both high-tech and low-tech, work best for reaching the most people we can. Another crucial part of the participation plan is that it provides the framework and guidance to ensure that we are reaching out beyond people who are typically interested in transportation planning. This is key. as essentially every person uses our transportation system in one way or another. To get that all-important human data, we reach out to what are referred to as traditionally underserved populations, such as low-income and minority communities, people who don't speak English well, persons with disabilities, our tribal consultation partners, the elderly, non-car households, and other groups to help us reach as many users of the transportation system as possible. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and stay-at-home orders, SPC was unable to hold in-person meetings with our public participation panels in developing the new tip. 3 virtual public meetings were held instead, one for each of our PennDOT districts, giving an overview of what was included in the draft tip. Resources were put on the SPC website, and comments were accepted through publicinput.com and other methods. Recordings of the virtual public meetings were made available on the SPC YouTube channel, where we also showcase in-house video production, consultant simulations, and webinar broadcasts. Speaking of our social media sites, we use them to support each department with an emphasis on promoting public input. Using targeted advertising, we spread the message about the TIP public comment period, virtual meetings, transportation surveys, and the animated commute info ad that was developed entirely with in-house talent. We also heavily used social media to make sure the region was aware of our business finance team and how they could provide small business loan assistance and free webinars during the uncertain COVID-19 downturn. Multimedia and design collaboration continued, supporting all the departments at SPC by showcasing their great work. We started with a streamlined and modernized redesign of spcregion.org. This included a blog-style What's Happening at SPC section spotlighting news items from important events like the 2020 census, TIP virtual meetings, and partner information like the Port Authority's long-range plan update. We also implemented full Google Analytics in order to provide new insights, not only to web statistics, but how our users interact with and navigate through the site. Our completely in-house production team began development of animated and promotional videos to expand SPC's audience reach. Our team went from initial idea to teaching themselves to animate, to rounds of revisions to final product in just 3 months, which was a very impressive and huge undertaking. Each of the videos started with custom illustrations that were developed by our in-house graphic designer, who also supports each and every department at SPC. When it comes to design, it is often better to show rather than tell. Our designer's focus is on using visual elements and strategic design choices as an effective way to communicate complex technical information to the public, which includes everything from infographics of all types to the presentation that you're watching right now. By having these abilities in-house, we provide the best quality product for our staff and members at the best possible value. And speaking of the best possible value, I'd like to introduce the director of our finance department, Vince Macero, to talk about how we are able to pay for all of the things that we do to support our members and the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon, for that introduction. SPC's administrative arm is the Southwestern Pennsylvania Corporation, a nonprofit 501c3 entity. Operations are funded through a combination of federal and state planning grants, SPC member contributions, in-kind service contributions, and private foundation grants supporting various transportation planning and economic development projects. The corporation's resources are applied to its core functions, daily administrative operations and planning. Federal and state government agencies are the largest sources of funding for SPC. Revenues are recorded when earned, and expenses are recorded when a liability is incurred, regardless of the timing of related cash flows. Grants and similar items are recognized as revenue as soon as all eligible requirements imposed by the provider have been met. The SPC audit report expresses an unmodified opinion with no reportable findings related to the financial statements and federal awards. Our total program revenues are $10.5 million and are a combination of grants and annual contributions. The program activities include both the Unified Planning Work Program and the Economic Development Program. Now, it is my pleasure to reintroduce Vincent Valdez with our closing statements.
Thank you, Vince, and thank you to all our department directors. As you've seen, SPC continued to show its value as the region's MPO during an extended period of crisis. Certainly a year for shaking up the status quo. Big ideas and bold strategies often begin their trip across the board as countermoves. SPC's bright future lies in adapting to new work methods and not merely continuing to follow the beaten path. As SPC continues to grow stronger as a regional player and leader, Countermoves will always be at the ready, and we certainly look forward to sharing more great work over the course of 2021. Thank you all, and stay safe.